In the icy stretches of northern Canada, where snow stretched as far as the eye can see, something interesting had happened. A complete tribe disappeared overnight. But where? Under what circumstances the complete tribe has disappeared, it seems there is something more in northern Canada than just cold and harsh weather. On November 26, 1930, an article titled "Village of the Dead" was published on the front page of Canada's The Meriden Daily Journal newspaper. This news spread fear throughout Canada because an entire tribe in North Canada had disappeared without a trace overnight. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to tell you the mystery of the disappeared Eskimo Tribe. In the remote region of North Canada near Anjikuni Lake, where the Eskimo Tribe resided in a small village. About 100 to 150 people lived there, making a living by catching fish from the Anjikuni Lake near northern Canada. An area encompassing millions of square kilometers is home to only a few hundred people due to its harsh weather conditions make it difficult to survive. In addition to fishing in Anjikuni Lake, other animals in the surrounding area are also hunted, which attract many hunters to this area. This was a cold November day in 1930 when a hunter named Joe Labelle came to this area to hunt. He became so busy in the hunt that he did not realize when it got dark. He had an idea in his mind that he would spend the night in the Eskimo tribe on the shores of Anjikuni Lake, as the people of this tribe were famous for welcoming outsiders. So, Joe Labelle packed his gear and began to walk towards the Eskimo tribe. It was a moonlit night, but there was complete silence all around. Neither a person was visible nor anyone's voice could be heard. He could only hear the sound of his own footsteps. Although he had done this before, today something was different. Usually when he used to come near the village, he could hear the barking dogs near the village. But today, even when he reached near the village, there was only emptiness and silence. Sensing something unusual has happened, Joe Labelle quickened his pace, feeling that maybe the villagers were sleeping or had gone somewhere. Even from a distance, he could see the village's tents and houses from where smoke was rising, but upon reaching closer, there was only emptiness and silence. Feeling perplexed, Labelle entered the village, and to his astonishment, he found neither any human nor any animal present there. What really surprised him even more was that in some houses, cooking utensils were on the stove, but the food had burnt. It seemed that someone had left the food to cook for the night, but could not eat it. Women from the village who used to sew clothes left the clothes and threads lying around. It seemed as if the people of the village had suddenly left from there. Joe Labelle began to search the entire village, but found nothing. He saw that the dogs kept by the villagers had ropes tied around their necks, but the dogs had died of hunger. Although food was in front of the dogs, there was no one to feed them. He saw a freshly dug grave at one place, indicating that it had not been dug long ago. Seeing all this, Labelle was deeply disturbed and alarmed. When people go anywhere, they always take their dogs with them. But seeing this scene, it seemed that something strange had happened here. Some invisible force had compelled the people to leave suddenly. Joe Labelle left the village disturbed by the sight and immediately reached the nearby telegraph office. From there, he contacted the Royal Canadian Mounted Police camps and reported what he had seen. When the police reached the village, what Joe Labelle had told turned out to be true. The police suspected that perhaps an attack had taken place here and all the villagers had been killed. But if that were the case, there should have been signs of blood in the village, and there was nothing found in the village. Only a few houses were burnt due to fire, but there were no signs of blood anywhere. In the investigation that followed, the police found something very unusual. The entire village was covered in snow, but there were no footprints of anyone. There was only one set of footprints which belonged to Joe Labelle himself, and what Labelle saw was indeed true. There were no footprints of any other person or animal. There was only one set of footprints, which were Labelle's own. If no one had come to this village other Joe Labelle and no one had left, then where did the people of the Eskimo tribe go? The mystery of the disappearance of the Eskimo tribe remains unsolved to this day. After 50 years of this incident, in 1984, writers Roger Bohr and Nigel Blundell wrote an article trying to link this incident to aliens. In their article, they described their encounter with a hunter and his two sons near Anjikuni Lake, where they saw flying objects with different shapes hovering towards the village where the Eskimo tribe lived. Turning this story into a base, it was suggested that aliens descended that night and took all the people of the village with them. However, neither of these writers had any solid evidence for their theory, so most people did not believe it and rejected this theory. After this, many stories began to be made about the disappearance of the Eskimo tribe, but the reality is that 100 years have passed since this incident has happened, but to this day, no one has an answer to the question of where the people of Anjikuni Lake of Eskimo tribe disappeared. This incident remains a mystery. We hope you will like and share this video.